Reds are 5-14. They trail by 8.5. And the Reds have lost 7 in a row. The Mets have won 13 of their last 14 ball games. Their best start ever in the history of the New York Mets. And the Cincinnati Reds now taking the field. The umpires for this game: Tom Halloran behind home plate, Fred Brocklander the umpire at first base, Lee Wire the umpire at second, and Dutch Rennert the umpire at third base. Dick Stello, normally with this group, is attending the graduation of his daughter and will miss this ball game. And from Cincinnati, Ohio, our national anthem.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red fell, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Our national anthem, as Mario Soto gets set to start this ball game for the Cincinnati Reds. He has a record of 2 wins and 2 losses. His first appearance against the Mets this year. An earned run average at 3.86. He has had 1 complete game this year in 5 game starts, and that was a shutout. He has worked 30 1/3 innings, given up 30 hits, 8 of them home runs. He has walked 13 and struck out 19. Mario Soto.
And the lineup for the New York Mets: Lynn Dykstra playing center field and leading off. Wally Backman, the second baseman, will bat second. And Keith Hernandez with his first 1986 home run yesterday, as the Mets won 4-1 over the Reds. Darryl Strawberry in right field, batting fourth. Gary Carter batting fifth and doing the catching. Gary with an off day yesterday. Danny Heap in left field and batting sixth. Ray Knight, what a torrid 4 weeks he has had for the Mets. He's batting seventh. Howard Johnson once again at shortstop for the 3rd game in a row, his 4th game overall this year. And Ron Darling, a good hitting pitcher, batting ninth.
In yesterday's ball game, the Mets defeated John Denny by a score of 4-1. Denny, a little bit unhappy with what was going on the field, comes into the dugout and throws the bat at the camera. Here's the cameraman right here. He lived through that episode.
The hard hat area, right?
He's ready for anything that can happen out here today. Denny unhappy about a call behind home plate of 2 pitches in a row. He thought he had Len Dykstra struck out twice. Dykstra then came back and tripled, and then Keith Hernandez hit the home run to knock Denny out of the ball game.
And you saw that sign from Lexington, Kentucky, and of course that's horse country. And congratulations to 54-year-old Bill Shoemaker. Man,
what a job he did,
riding that Ferdinand to victory yesterday in the Kentucky Derby.
Now back to baseball, in the first pitch of the game. It's a high pop-up out into shallow left. Stillwell going back, and at the last second, Cal Daniels makes the catch. So 1 pitch and 1 away. Reds are going with a change in their lineup. They've gone to some of their younger ball players, hoping to break their 7-game losing streak. And of course, that's with the exception of Pete Rose. Rose in the lineup for the first time against the Mets. Here's Wally Backman. Dykstra before the out hitting .297. Backman hitting .333. No home runs, 2 runs batted in. Mets lead the major leagues in team hitting with a .280 average. They have hit 18 home runs. Soto with a fastball, and the count 1 ball, no strike.
You mentioned the young players. I guess you could say the lineup that the Reds are fielding today is something old, Pete Rose, something new, the young players, something borrowed, Dave Parker and Bo Diaz, and something blue. When you lose 7 in a row, you're blue, right?
And here's one in the air to center field. Going back is Milner. It is over his head, and it bounces over the wall. So a grounds rule 2-base hit for Wally Backman to start it off.
That is the 4th ball that Wally Backman has driven deep to center field this year. He's netted 1 triple and now his 2nd double. And he is showing everybody in the National League that they're going to have to respect him a little bit more in left field and center field.
And Wally getting a bad break. He could have been on third if that ball had not bounced over the fence.
That's right.
So a runner at second and 1 away, and Keith Hernandez the batter. Keith brings an 8-game hitting streak into the game, hitting .321 for the year with his home run yesterday, his first home run, and he has driven in 12. And the fastball for ball 1. Soto, one of the hardest throwers in the National League. Hernandez with his 8-game hitting streak, having 13 hits over the 8 games and 7 runs batted in. And again the fastball, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike. Soto from the Dominican Republic.
From that little farming community in the Dominican. Bani, B-A-N-I. Didn't have baseball till about 15 years ago. Little community of about 3,000 people. And they have 6 major league players out of that little 3,000 folk town down there. Amazing.
2 balls, 1 strike to Keith Hernandez. 10% of the players in the major leagues are from the Dominican Republic. And another fastball, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike. Soto with the all-time record for Latin players in strikeouts in a single season, breaking a record once held by Louis Tiant of 264. This ball hit out to right field. Parker starting in and out back, and he makes a catch in deep right center field. Backman going to third base and holding there, and the Mets with a runner at third and 2 men out. In this ball game, you'll see an awful lot of fly balls hit.
And this, of course, is one of them. Because, and the reason for a lot of fly balls, Mario Soto, a high ball pitcher. And Ron Darling, he has movement down, but Soto primarily keeps the ball up. He's got a fastball, a slider, and a self-taught changeup that has developed itself into being his best pitch in his repertoire over the last 3 years.
And now for the Mets, it's Darryl Strawberry. Strawberry hitting .292 with 3 home runs. He has 14 runs batted in. And the fastball for ball 1.
You remember 2 years ago, Darryl Strawberry's first at bat of the season against Mario Soto. He pumped one over the wall in right field in this ballpark.
The run the Mets picked up in that ball game as Soto won at 8-1. And a strike call, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike. Darryl in his last 10 ball games with 3 home runs and 10 runs batted in. Two balls, 1 strike. Strawberry with 29 home runs last year, missing just a shade over 40 ball games. Backman, the runner at third base, and another one out of the strike zone, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike.
Soto wanted that pitch. That's why he's backing off the mound. We talked about John Denny yesterday. And John Denny, of course, very snappable, and so is Mario Soto. Got to really try to maintain your control out there of your temper, and sometimes that's tough to do.
3-1 the count to Strawberry. Now Soto takes too much time, so Darryl asks for timeout. And the 3-1 pitch is missed. Soto with 19 strikeouts so far this year in 30 innings. On deck batter Gary Carter. This ball hit in the air again. It's deep to right center. Might be out of here. Going back is the center fielder Milner. It is gone. Goodbye. Darryl Strawberry with a 2-run home run, and the Mets lead 2-0.
And it's the 9th home run hit off Mario Soto this year. And there is nobody in the big leagues that can tiny up a ballpark like Darryl Strawberry. I mean, tiny it up. He didn't have a full swing at this ball. Looked like just an easy swing. Check the swing.
Look at the speed of that bat.
Oh, my goodness.
Darryl actually behind that pitch, but the speed of the bat picking the ball up and taking it right over the center field fence.
Man.
And it brings up Gary Carter. Carter hitting at .257 with 3 home runs and 19 RBIs. Carter having 12 runs batted in his last 12 ball games. Mets leading 2-0 on a towering home run by Darryl Strawberry. Home run following a walk to what should say a double to Wally Backman. One ball, one strike. Darryl Strawberry right there by the, I guess, lemonade stand. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Well, one thing Dwight Gooden and Darryl Strawberry don't have to do is sell lemonade to moonlight. Not too many of the players nowadays have to do that, right?
2-1 the count to Carter. Mets leading 2-0 with 2 men out in the top of the first inning. The off-speed pitch and called a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's that slider right there. Gary Carter questioning home plate umpire Tom Hallion. Gary thought it was a little high. It appeared to be a strike, however.
And back to the fastball, and the count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Soto with 91 wins in his major league career against 75 losses. Get a shot of Davey Johnson, the manager of the Mets. Drive down the left field line. It'll be extra bases in all likelihood. Fielded out there by Daniels. Carter on his way to second. The throw in there, not in time. So Carter with a 2-base hit, and the Mets now with 3 extra base hits as this game just gets underway.
2 doubles and the 4th home run of the year by Strawberry. This ball is really whipped down the line. Gary Carter rested in yesterday's game. Barry Lyons caught the whole game yesterday, and Gary showing that rest did some good. It's what happens when you rest, when you're a catcher. You go belly sliding into bases.
Now it's going to be an intentional walk to Danny Heap to get to the very hot Ray Knight. 2 balls, no strikes.
Ralph, we're following the ball club every day as we do. We certainly have noticed the early runs that the Mets have scored. It seems like they have, during this streak, winning 13 of 14, they have put the heat on the opposition immediately, scored a lot of first-inning runs. Early and often. That's a good formula, isn't it?
Hard to beat. So now runners at first and second base with 2 men out, and Ray Knight the batter. Ray leading the National League in slugging percentage with a .695 percentage. In this series, he's 4 for 7 with a total of 2 runs batted in, and overall hitting .339 with 6 home runs and 15 runs batted in. Former Cincinnati Red player Ray Knight. Ray replacing Pete Rose at third base when Rose went off to Philadelphia. Mets leading 2-0 on Strawberry's home run. Runners at first and second. And a good slider for strike 1. .339 batting average as you look at Mario Soto, 4th in the National League. Johnny Ray of Pittsburgh leading at 390, and again the off-speed pitch, and it's strike 2. So Soto back after 2 full counts, 1 to Strawberry when Strawberry homered and 1 to Carter when he doubled. The intentional walk, and now out in front with a 2-strike count. Carter at second base. Danny Heap at first, and that's the ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carter looking in, trying to read the signs of the catcher, Bo Diaz.
Look at that. Yeah, trying to pick those signs up.
When they use a series like that, you can memorize the series, take them back into the dugout, and then try and decode them. This ball hit to left field, another base hit. Carter rounding third, on his way home. The throw by Daniels not in time and cut off, and the Mets lead by a score of 3-0. And that'll bring up Howard Johnson.
Who said you can't guess with 2 strikes? Ray Knight's been guessing correctly the last 3 weeks. 2 sliders, a fastball in, and I'll tell you, he really went out to get that slider right there. You don't hit that slider unless you're looking away and protecting away.
Unless you got the signs from Carter that tells you it's a slider coming.
Yes, sir. Possibility. Saw Carter peeking in there. I've always been of the opinion that a lot of that's overrated, but certainly Gary appeared to be gawking in there and trying to pick him up, and if he did, he certainly relayed the right sign to Ray Knight.
And you might ask, how do they relay those signs in? You can do it several ways. One would be stepping with your right foot first for a fastball, and with your left foot first for a curveball.
It could be a head turn. It could be a gesture of the hand, holding the left hand back toward second base. Some subtle such movement.
Something that you can read easily and know what's coming. So now the 8th man to bat in this inning. The Mets leading 3-0, and the batter's Howard Johnson. Howard hitting .347 with 1 home run and 6 RBIs. And it was Howard Johnson that got the Mets on a torrid streak when they played their first game against the St. Louis Cardinals in St. Louis. He hit a 2-out, 2-run home run in the 9th inning to tie the ball game. The Mets went on to win the game in 10 innings. And a strike call. Mets on this road trip playing their 10th ball game. They have won 8 of 9. Howard playing at shortstop in this ball game. And it's popped up. It should be playable for the second baseman, Oster. And he makes the catch, and that retires the side. So a long half inning. The Mets pick up 3 runs on 4 hits. Also an intentional walk, and they leave 2. And the score at the end of 1/2 inning, the Mets 3 and the Reds coming up. Now here's a word from Burger King. On the mound for the Mets, he has a record of 1 win and no losses. His first appearance against the Reds this year. He has a record of 30-18 in his major league career. He's worked 20 innings of baseball so far this year, giving up 23 hits, allowing 5 home runs. He's walked 9 and struck out 14. Ron Darling working for the Mets.
And the lineup for the Reds, a revised and revamped lineup for Pete Rose. Eddie Milner, the center fielder, leading off, and Pete himself batting second. Right fielder Dave Parker batting third. Young left fielder Cal Daniels batting fourth. Davey Concepcion has moved to third base and will bat fifth. Young Kurt Stillwell, the shortstop, hitting sixth. Bo Diaz behind the plate batting seventh. Ron Oster, the switch hitting second baseman, hitting eighth. And Mario Soto on the mound. We'll hope he gets at least 1 at bat.
And the first pitch by Ron Darling to Eddie Milner, and that's taken for strike 1. Milner starting for the first time against the Mets, hitting .261, no home runs, 1 run batted in. And this ball popped up high in the air to right. Darryl Strawberry one-hands it, 1 away. So the Mets leading 3-0 as they got to Mario Soto, who is standing back here. Looks like he's pondering why he's off to such a tough start for this year. He's been an outstanding pitcher. And now he'll watch as Pete Rose steps in. Pete batting for the first time in this series. He is 0 for 10 this year, and now he'll be 0 for 11. So one pitch to Pete Rose, and now 2 away. Charlie Hustle.
That picture of Mario Soto in the dugout, you never see that man right there with his head down. You saw Soto with his head down. And the Cincinnati Reds as a team have their heads down.
Those losing streaks can really do it to you, but you got to fight back.
There's an old saying in the game, Ralph, and we've heard it many times: you're never as bad as you look, and you're never as good as you think you are. And that saying applies to both teams today.
And Pete Rose saying that you have to keep that positive attitude, and he certainly has a positive attitude, and one of the real attributes of his managing.
That's right.
Here is Dave Parker. Parker 2 for 9 in this series, and the slider swung on and missed. Parker hitting at .278, 5 home runs, 14 RBIs. Last year, runner-up as the most valuable player in baseball in the National League. Batted .312 and hit a total of 34 home runs and led the league in runs batted in with 125. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball, 2 balls, 1 strike. Parker has been the MVP. He did that for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He also has been a 2-time batting champion, also with Pittsburgh. And he goes after a low fastball, fouls it, 2-2. Playing in his hometown now, and that puts the count at 3-2.
Matter of fact, the Reds have 3 players who are from Cincinnati in the starting lineup today: Ron Oster and Pete Rose, and Eddie Milner's from Columbus. Just a stone's throw from here.
Another foul ball, so the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Who's on?
A cannon. Not mine.
Yours is in memoriam. 3-2 as Ron Darling works to his 3rd batter, retiring the first 2. And he walks him. So Darling giving up his 10th walk of the year in 21 innings. It has been one of his problems, and the Reds have a runner on with the Mets leading 3-0. And Cal Daniels stepping in. Daniels hitting .343. He's had 12 base hits and 35 at-bats. 2 of them have been home runs, and he's driven in 5. And fastball for a ball. Daniels batted .302 with 15 home runs at Denver. Played in only 76 games. He broke an ankle there.
Broke his right ankle at Denver last year, Mile High Stadium. Talk about Gary Reedus of the Phillies hitting .462 at Billings, Ralph. And Cal Daniels, his first year up there, batted .367 at Billings. Gary Reedus formerly with the Reds, so they've had seen some pretty good young hitters up in Billings, Montana. Pretty country.
And that ball grounded foul. 2-1. Daniels, an outstanding young ball player in the Cincinnati Red organization, and they're looking for great things from him. Parker, the runner at first base, and the split-fingered fastball or off-speed pitch, forkball, missed. 2-2.
See, that's one thing young hitters do not expect. When you're coming up through Little League, high school, Legion ball, even in the minor leagues, you get a lot of fastballs when you're ahead in the count. Not so in the big leagues.
And again, the split-fingered fastball, this one topped out foul.
I guess that's the biggest difference, Ralph.
It certainly is.
The command of the breaking ball behind in the count is certainly a big, big difference in the major league pitching and the minor leagues.
Daniels' first name is Kalbosky.
Kalbosky Daniels from Deanna, Georgia. Yeah.
And it's out of the strike zone. So the count full at 3-2. And Parker at first base will be going with the pitch. Daniels was originally drafted by the Mets, but he didn't sign with the Mets. He was the #1 draft choice in the secondary phase of the June 1982 draft by the Cincinnati Reds. Parker goes, and the ball hit on the ground to Backman at second base. The throw to first ends the inning. So a walk and one left. The score at the end of one. The Mets 3, the Reds nothing. Now here's a word from Delta Airlines. A score of 3-0, and what do you call that?
I don't know. Speaking of the top of the second, huh? Those are some kind of ugly lids right there. I've never seen a man in an uglier looking hat than those two dudes. Boy, those things. Do you ever wear a hat like that?
You out of your mind? Is that a trick question?
A loaded question.
Now it's Ron Darling, the leadoff for the Mets, and Mario Soto throws a fastball.
Look at these two dudes now.
That one fellow's big enough to wear a hat like that.
Yeah, I think all three of them are, really.
Darling with an idea about bunting, and they count 1 ball and 1 strike. The Mets sent 8 to the plate in the first inning when they scored their 3 runs. Darling leading off here, the 9th batter in the batting order, and this ball chopped out toward third. Picked up by Concepcion playing third base, and the out is made. So 1 away in the top of the second. And Len Dykstra will be batting for the second time. Len saw 1 pitch his first time up and popped it up to left field. Dykstra should remember Mario Soto very well, and this ballpark well.
Especially his second at bat in the major leagues, this being his second at bat. That's when he hit his first major league home run, a down and in fastball last year. Same day he was called up.
And he gets another fastball, this one for a ball. Had 2 hits in that ball game, his opening major league debut. And a strike call. 1 ball, 1 strike. Soto with the Cincinnati Reds. And there's that off-speed pitch. 1-2. Dykstra has been on base in 16 of his 18 games played so far this year. And another hard smash picked up nicely by Oster, and a throw to first base for the out. Ron Oster taking a base hit away from Len Dykstra.
Ron Oster may be a new wave type second baseman, because on the rug, a second baseman has to have a good arm. You can't really plant on the artificial surface. Ron Oster broke in as a shortstop. He has a strong arm, and that aids him in making a play like that. Good play.
And it brings up Wally Backman. Backman with the double over the center fielder's head his first time up. Wally hitting at .348 for the year. And he has an idea about dragging a bunt. Doesn't make the contact necessary, and it's strike 1.
Soto does not like hitters to bunt off of him, and sometimes when they do try to bunt, he breezes them with the next pitch. We'll see.
This changeup, and he comes back and picks up another strike. Rose, who was playing right on top of Backman, moves back to a deeper position.
Juan Marichal was like that. Rick Sutcliffe's like that. He does not like guys to bunt on him.
And it's looped into center field. Milner right there, and he puts it away. So the Mets, after sending 8 to the plate in the first, send 3 in the second, and the score at the end of 1.5. The Mets 3 and the Reds nothing. Now here's a word from United Parcel Service. Movie at 9, Liza Minnelli stars as a saucy nightclub singer in pre-war Berlin. Cabaret, presented with limited commercial interruption. A fellow who's done a little cabareting in his time, coming in for the play-by-play, Tim McCarver.
I thought you were talking about that guy in the picture there. Well, today's Umbrella Day at Riverfront Stadium. The first 12,000 that entered the park got a free umbrella, and the only thing that has been raining so far, it's been base hits by the Mets. They scored 3 in the first. Big blow, a 2-run homer by Darryl Strawberry. Davey Concepcion, the batter, and he takes a fastball for a strike.
Concepcion passing the 8,000 official at-bat mark in yesterday's ball game.
Yeah, this is his 17th year with the Cincinnati Reds. The only player with more time with one ball club in the National League, Bill Russell with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Bill's in his 18th year.
All-time leader, Brooks Robinson of the Baltimore Orioles.
Consecutive, that is. Of course, Pete's been with this club longer, but not consecutive years. How many years Brooksy have? 23?
20, I'm not sure.
2 or 3?
Now, somewhere in there. And, of course, Carl Yastrzemski.
Yes. And struck him out with a fastball. A good blazer on the corner. First strikeout for Ron Darling.
Darling picking up his first strikeout, his 15th of this season. And he gets the call from home plate umpire Tom Halloran.
Kurt Stillwell, the switch-hitting shortstop, is the batter. Kurt batting .261. 1-0. Stillwell
should go well right here with the Cincinnati Reds. Good prospect.
Yes, he is. From Thousand Oaks, California. Only 20 years old. #1 draft choice back in 1983. And it's 3-0 to Kurt Stillwell.
He also had a fractured bone in his body last year that curtailed some of his action. Had a right shin that had a small fracture.
The automatics a strike, 3-1. It's a dangerous park in Denver, isn't it? Fastball drilled to Backman while he comes up with it and throws out Stillwell. And with 2 out, nobody on, the batter, Bo Diaz. Mets lead 3-0, bottom of the second. All 3 runs scored in the top of the first inning after 2 were out. Diaz batting .250. A couple of home runs, awfully strong from Cua, Venezuela, CUA. Ball 1.
Never forget that grand slam he hit against Neil Allen of the Mets.
Oh, boy. In 83.
2 men out in the 9th inning. Gave the Philadelphia Phillies a big win.
That was the 9th game of the season in 1983, and I have never seen a ball club as devastated early in the season as the Mets were after that blow. Fastball's tight, 3-0 to Diaz. Strike 1.
I know quite a few pitchers that would not like a batter to do what he just did to try and get ball 4 there.
And he's taken again, 3-2. How many 3-1 pitches did you take right down the middle?
I can't remember any.
Fastball misses and just barely. Second walk issued by Darling. And the batter will be Ron Oster. As we said, Oster, a Cincinnati product. Batting .203. .293 as a left-hander, but only 2 for 28 batting right-handed this year. So he's certainly from his strong side now.
He's had 29 of his 31 home runs from the left-hand side of the plate.
1-0 to Ronnie. Ron's idol growing up here in Cincinnati, Pete Rose, and now he's playing the same side of the infield with him. Split finger fastball. Darling coming from behind and throwing a lot of off-speed stuff today. 1-1.
He probably tells Pete, just stay over there by the bag and I'll take everything on this side.
Let the sure hands
That's
have it.
right.
Fastball is low, 2-1. Diaz, no speed at first. Hernandez playing behind Bo. Line drive to center. There's Dykstra for the 3rd out. No runs, no hits, 1 left for the Reds after 2. The Mets continue their surge. It's 3-0 New York. And we go to the 3rd after this word from New York telephone. Lovely day in Cincinnati, the Queen City. And rather regal weather we have on hand today, Ralph.
Also, the Delta Queen is in town.
Yeah, 60 years old. One of the last of the river-going vessels. You mentioned the hit that Howard Johnson got against the St. Louis Cardinals. Can one hit turn teams around over a period of a couple of weeks? Well, since that time, the St. Louis Cardinals, who have now lost 5 in a row, the Mets swept them in that series. They have been shut out 4 times since that night. They've been shut out 6 times over the season. They were shut out by Valenzuela and the Dodgers last night. And they only were shut out 8 times in the whole 1985 season. Mets, on the other hand, have won 8 of 9.
Cardinals as a team hitting just .205, last in the National League. Last year they led the league in batting average and also runs scored. They have really gotten off poorly.
Hit the skids, the early skids, and the fastball inside to Hernandez. Heath flied to right field his first time up. Takes a strike, 1-1. Mario Soto can relate to good starts. He had his best start last year in April, 4-1, and he was 8-3 in the middle of June. Then he didn't win another ball game until July 22nd. Finished the year 12-15. Good slider there. 2-2 to Keith Hernandez.
Soto will never forget George Henry. Henry hit a 2-out, 2-strike slider out of the ballpark for a home run to break up his bid for a no-hit, no-run game.
Fastball on the corner gets Hernandez, and that's the first strikeout for Mario Soto, and that's what he wishes he would have done to George that night.
Lost the no-hitter. He did win the ball game in 10 innings. There's a lot more Mets action to come, so open a cold Budweiser and get ready with that clean, crisp taste that only comes from Beechwood Aging. Hey, this Bud's for you. And there's Strawberry again on the replay. Darrell's 2-run home run giving the Mets a 2-0 lead in the first.
4th home run of the year for Darrell. And it's 1-0 to Darrell Strawberry. 1-1.
Darrell against Mario Soto has hit 4 home runs and 23 at-bats in his major league career, and he's had 8 base hits off of it.
Fastball is high and away, 2-1. Another fastball. Darrell looked like he was looking for something else, but he got the fastball, 2-2. One out, nobody on. Top of the third, 3-0 New York. Mets have won 13 of their last 14. The Reds have lost 7 in a row. Well, another one. This is also going to be gone. Second straight home run for Darrell Strawberry. The Mets lead 4-0. And Mr. Kiner, you can revise those stats you just read about Darrell against Soto.
5 home runs in 24 at-bats lifetime against Soto.
Man.
And Soto now has given up his 10th home run and working a total of just 33 innings. And right here, there's the changeup that Strawberry hit out of the ballpark. Got it up, and Darrell did exactly what you have to do. He got it up, too.
Home run number 5 for Strawberry. And Carter takes a fastball inside.
Well, as short as Soto's temper is, you can look for something going to happen here somewhere down the line.
Thinking the same thing. 2 fastballs in tight, and it's 2-0 to Gary Carter.
Mario gave up 4 home runs in 1 inning to the Montreal team.
Slider for a strike. Tom Hallian may have called that first pitch a strike, and it's 1-2 to Gary Carter. Got him. a good fastball from Soto. Second strikeout. And with 2 out, nobody on, the batter, Danny Heap.
This fastball has some movement on it. And Carter couldn't get his bat on that one. Soto throws the ball in the 90-mile-an-hour range.
Danny Heap was intentionally fast in the first inning. Change up is low. Darryl Strawberry with his 10th multi-home run game in the major leagues. Last time he did it, he had 2 against Houston last July 28. And of course his best day ever, 3 home runs against the Cubs August 5th last year.
First to do that for the Mets was Jim Hickman. 3 home runs in 1 ball game. Did it against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Sure did. I called every one of them. You bring up these things, don't you?
Just happened to think of it.
You know, I was thinking the other day we should have walked him those 3 times. That's what Gibson used to say. He said, if a guy's going to hit a home run, walk him. Drilled up the middle. Another fine play by Oster. And Danny Heap's out of there, but the Mets tack on another one. The 2nd straight home run for Darryl Strawberry. Had a hit, stranded none after 2.5. It's 4-0, New York. Mario Soto swings at the first pitch. Mets lead 4-0. Mario 1 for 8 on the year. And the split finger fastball, 0-2. Mets with 5 hits, the Reds with none. Curveball inside. Another breaking ball gets Soto. That's a 2nd strikeout for Ron Darling. And the top of the order, Eddie Milner, the batter.
Well, right here, Mario, who's not too bad a hitter, gets that off-speed pitch. And Darling racks up number 2.
Milner flied to right his first time up. The Reds have lost 9 straight games at home. The most losses at home in 27 years here in Cincinnati. 2-0 to Eddie Milner.
Well, their last win was opening day in this ballpark. Soto the winning pitcher that game.
Fastball outside, 3-0. Darling has walked 2, struck out 2. He's given up no hits and no runs. And he lost Milner. 3rd walk given up by Ron Darling. Ron led the major leagues in walks last year with 114. And the batter, Pete Rose, looking for hit number 1 for the 86 season.
Last year when Rose played in a ball game for the Cincinnati Reds, they had a record of 64-46. This is the first game that he has played in this series, so maybe he feels that might have something to do with breaking their losing streak.
Takes a fastball outside. Well, it was September 11th at 8:01 p.m. last year when Pete Rose banged out hit number 4,192 off Eric Schau of the San Diego Padres, and he hit it to left center field. Historic moment that was. 2-0.
He had tied the record in Chicago, and he wasn't supposed to play that game because he didn't play against left-hand pitching, but Trout, the pitcher scheduled that day, fell off his bicycle and he couldn't pitch, so Pete came in and played and got 2 hits to tie the record.
3-0 to Pete. Now, I guess that would lead one to question why Steve Trout was riding a bicycle on the day that he pitched.
Didn't want to walk to the ballpark.
There's the fastball.
I hope it wasn't a stationary bicycle.
Getting nowhere fast, huh? 3-1 to Rose. 1 out. Good speed at first in Eddie Milner. Throw to first and almost picked him off, and you cannot get picked off in that situation with your team trailing by 4.
This is a very close play. I think he got him. Fred Brocklander, the first base umpire, didn't say he was out, but he was pretty much out on that videotape replay. Another throw over there. Reds have been running a lot. They have been successful 77% of the time. There's the replay, and that tag.
I think you're right, Ralph. I think he got him.
Yeah.
There goes Milner. And it's popped up in the infield. Howard Johnson back. Dykstra. And Johnson makes the catch. Milner backpedals to first. Speaking of those bikes. And they're 2 away. Yeah, so the Cubs inserted a right-handed pitcher, and Pete played that day and got a couple of knocks, didn't he? He tied it.
Tied the record.
On a Sunday afternoon.
He had a chance to break the record in Chicago. He had an at-bat after that, but didn't get a base hit. And then, happily for the Cincinnati Red organization, he came over here and did it before a packed house.
September 11th at 8:01 p.m. They'll never forget it here. And Dave Parker had a memorable year last year. 125 RBIs. Swings and misses. Dave walked his first time up. The score is 4-0. We're in the bottom of the third, 2 out, and Eddie Milner at first. Ball hit well down the left field line. It's going to be trouble. And it bounces into the stands and actually over the fence. Otherwise, Milner would have scored in all probability. As it stands, he'll have to go back to third. And the Reds will have runners at second and third and 2 out.
Well, Parker loses a run batted in as Milner is sent back to third base. And Darling keeps his shutout going. On the grounds rule double. 1 bounce up into the stands and over the outfield fence. So now runners at second and third on the first hit given up by Darling, and it brings up Daniels.
Daniels grounded to second his first time up. Excellent speed. Young 22-year-old Cal Daniels. Shades Daniels, a bid to call. Lenny Dykstra about 3 steps to the right of second base. And the split finger fastball, 0-2 to Cal Daniels. In the early going, this is the best off-speed stuff Darling has had all year.
Had a fine spring training and threw an awful lot of those split-fingered fastballs. But then got off to a rocky start.
There it is again, but it misses. Fastball is held with the fingers together, of course, or slightly apart, and the split finger is exactly what the term indicates. It's thrown with your fingers split, and hitters have a tendency to swing at the arm movement.
Ball comes up there with not much spin on it and drops out. Darling credits Al Jackson with teaching him how to throw that pitch, and he said the reason why he's had trouble throwing it is that his fingers are very short.
And a curveball, nice play by Carter. The Mets are probably thinner at their catching position than any other position.
Their backup catcher could be Kevin Mitchell.
Or Barry Lyons right now, but Kevin Mitchell has worked out behind the plate. 2-2 to Daniels. Another good play by Carter.
Darling beats up a catcher pretty fierce. Throws an awful lot of balls in the dirt. This is a fastball in the dirt, which is very hard to handle. Carter gets in front of it, uses that chest protector as a shield, and keeps the ball in play.
Every every team wants depth, and you want depth particularly in that very vulnerable catching position. Daniels walks to load the bases. The 4th walk given up by Ron Darling. He had Daniels 0-2 and then lost him. So Davey Concepcion is the batter with the Mets up by 4, but the Reds threatening. Concepcion struck out his first time up. Darryl Strawberry with 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, and his first 2 at-bats today. Mets with 5 hits, the Reds but 1. One 1-0 to Concepcion. Ron Darling is fiddling with danger.
Concepcion has hit 99 home runs in his major league career, the all-time home run leader as a shortstop, Ernie Banks.
1-1 to Dave Concepcion. He left his feet with that swing, didn't he?
He wanted that high fastball.
Bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 3rd inning. Mets up by 4.
Concepcion hit 7 home runs last year while hitting .252.
Outside corner, 1-2 to Dave Concepcion from Aragua, Venezuela. Milner at 3rd, Big Dave Parker at 2nd, young Cal Daniels at 1st. 2 out. Fouled away. He tried to go back out with that fastball. That's the fastball that Concepcion took his first time up, was called 3rd strike. Ball check swing back to Darling, and he throws out Concepcion. Darling pitches out of trouble, and the woes continue for the Cincinnati Reds as the Mets lead 4-0 after 3. And we'll be back right after this word from Nissan. It's back-to-back fun and big money games weeknights at 7 with Dick Clark on the $100,000 pyramid, followed at 7:30 by Jim Lang on the $1 million chance of a lifetime. Pete Rose starting his first game against the Mets this year, and recently a street near Riverfront named after Pete is called Pete Rose Way, and a guy after whom an alley is named in Orlando, Florida. Steve Zabriskie joins us.
Steve's Alley. Yes. Come on down any dark night.
Tin Pan Alley.
Ray Knight leads it off here in the 4th. Mets up 4-0. And Knight continuing his hot hitting after getting 3 hits in yesterday's game, singling to drive in a run in the 1st inning. So Ray is 5 for 8 in this series. Going away, and the count 2 balls, no strikes. Mario Soto looks despondent, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Fastball lofted to center field. Eddie Milner right there, and there's one away. It has been tough for Soto since that opening day win here at Riverfront. And he, like Ron Darling, who has had an up-and-down season so far in a brief amount of time, sometimes his own worst enemy. Johnson ended the 1st inning by popping out to Oster, the 2nd baseman. Hojo, however, working on a 6-game hitting streak, and he takes low, ball 1.
Bring up an interesting point, because good control for a pitcher encompasses much more than throwing the ball over the plate.
Control of one's emotion.
Yes, sir.
Caught the corner, says Tom Hallion, and it is 1-1. Ron Darling on deck. That's tapped foul off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Howard Johnson.
Reds come to Shea next weekend for a 3-game series. And, of course, a big 2-game series against the Houston Astros, who are playing very well. And what a matchup on Tuesday. Bob Knepper against Dwight Gooden. And the next night, Nolan Ryan against Sid Fernandez. 2 good games.
Knepper and Gooden, you've got the 2 top pitchers in the league right now. Knepper's 5-0, Gooden 4-0, along with Bob Ojeda of the Mets. High and away, and the count full now. Hojo, during his 6-game hitting streak, is hitting .400 with 5 RBIs in those 6 games. And as you mentioned earlier, Tim, the 4th time he started as shortstop recently. Pete Rose with a fine backhanded play, and they just do get Howard Johnson at first base.
Oh, that was a nice play. Had this ball gotten through, I don't believe Ron Oster would have gotten him. Johnson, as you see, doesn't get out of the box because the ball was away. Rose cuts off the roller from Ron Oster and makes a fine leaping throw to Mario Soto covering. Good play by Pete Rose.
2 out, nobody on for Ron Darling, who grounded to third his first time up. And he takes a strike on the outside corner. Pete has probably done more with a limited amount of overall ability than any other player in the history of the game. Foul back, and the count 0-2. We talked about it before, you know, his lack of a great arm, great speed, doesn't have real good hands, doesn't have any power to speak of. All he has done is more than anybody else in the history of the game has been able to do. Get over 4,200 hits. There's a rocket into right field for a base hit. Almost bounces away from Parker, but he recovers to hold Darling at first base. So Ronnie picks up his first hit of the year in his 11th at bat. A 2-out base hit to right field.
First hit of the year for Ron Darling. Sometimes that ball just won't stay still for you. Come here. Whoa.
Sometimes you feel like taking a bat and pounding it into the turf. Die. So Darling at first base with 2 out for Len Dykstra, who is 0 for 2. He flied to left and then was robbed of a base hit on a fine play by Ron Oster in the 2nd. That's a little high, ball 1.
It's really not an exaggeration when you talk about Pete to say that if he showed up at the tryout camp now because of his limited physical abilities, you might not sign him.
It's really true. Fouled off, 1-1.
He has the ability to make contact and hit a ball hard on the ground. You rarely see Pete Rose pop it up in the infield. He has done that once today. He's not quite as good as Wade Boggs at that, however. What did Boggs have? 2 fair pop flies last year in the infield?
He's amazing.
But the other traits are missing from Pete. Not exceptional hands, not an exceptional arm.
But he has made up for it rather, with desire, effort, and his mind. He has one of the great baseball minds of all time.
He certainly does.
Fastball right in there, and the count 1-2 to Dykstra. Len has hit .321 over the last 17 games. He's right now hitting .288 on the year overall. And he skies one to left. Daniels will gather it in, and the inning is over. 1 hit and 1 left here in the fourth for New York after 3.5. The Mets lead the Reds 4-0. And we're back at Riverfront after this for Garcia Vega.
In Snapper, I want to let you know that if you miss Snapper calendar weekend on April 19th and 20th, you can stop into any participating Snapper dealer to obtain one.
Bottom of the fourth inning here in Cincinnati on a gorgeous day. Relatively cool temperatures, but bright, sunny skies and no humidity. And it'll be Kurt Stillwell, Bo Diaz, and Ron Oster, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the Reds lineup, to face Ron Darling, who has allowed but 1 hit, no runs. He has walked 4 hitters through the first 3 innings, however, as control continues to be his main problem.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Well, between the 2 hats now, we got a guy in overalls. What's going on here?
Well, the Grand Ole Opry is only about 180 miles south of here.
They must have got those hats from Minnie Pearl.
Yeah. No price tag on it, though.
That would be the telltale sign.
They look like they're totally involved in this game, don't they?
They look like they're wearing something that really isn't supposed to be a hat, but they made a hat out of it. Those are ugly. Stillwell grounded to Backman at second his first time up, and he takes outside for ball 1. Kurt batting .250 on the year. 0 for 3 in this series. Ball 2. This guy would be the antithesis of Pete Rose. He's got all the physical ability. He hits one to left field. Danny Heap drifting back, and there's one away.
Reds have some excellent players on this team, excellent young players, but they may have too many young players, Steve. It's very difficult to break in to the major leagues when you can't be sandwiched in with a bunch of veterans. I can really relate to that. I was so fortunate in 1963 to break in with the Cardinal lineup with Julian Javier, Kurt Flood, Dick Grote, Bill White, Kenny Boyer, and an established pitching staff, Bob Gibson, Kurt Simmons, Barney Schultz. Roger Craig was with us in '64. And you kind of blend in, and the older players take a lot of the heat off.
Yeah, and here with the Reds, they've got so many guys, like in the lineup today, that you start 2 or 3 of those guys in one lineup, and it's tough. Bo Diaz takes a strike, and the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Diaz walked his first time up.
Yeah, coping with the downside. A lot of these young players that, come right out of high school or college, they don't know what failure is.
That's out of play, still 1 and 2.
They've beat up on everybody throughout their high school career. These are the best baseball players in the world, a lot of them. And when you select one from Los Angeles and one from San Francisco, one from Chicago, one from Georgia, tell them to all blend together, they're not used to the competition that is performed on a day-to-day 162-game schedule. And because they're not used to failure, and they all of a sudden are thrown into the melting pot and failing together, they don't know how to cope with that.
They need that leadership. And like you said, you had that. The opportunity to sort of slip in there and have those other guys show you the ropes.
Coupled with the fact that the Reds were picked to win this Western Division of the National League.
Extra pressure.
Yeah.
Then you add to that the horrible start Los Angeles got off to, and the opportunity that existed for Cincinnati, which they were unable to take advantage of. And they're really beginning to feel the heat.
Yeah, because L.A.'s really picked up. They've won 7 in a row. Fernando's shutting out the Cardinals, as we said, 3-0 last night.
So whatever opportunity the Reds had to get out of the gate in front of the Dodgers is gone by the boards now.
5-14 is their record now.
Well, Diaz hangs in there and finally skies one deep to right. Strawberry on the track, and there are 2 away. So 2 fly balls and 2 outs here in the fourth. And the batter will be Ron Oster.
It's a lot different when a second division ball club throws a bunch of young players together and has a youth movement for a couple of years. That's a different thing. But when you're expected to win and you've got a lot of young players, it can be very, very difficult. Heat can be intense.
Ron Oster's starting to feel the heat a little bit because, like the rest of the Reds lineup, He's just not hitting. He's had 1 hit in his last, 3 hits in his last 26 at bats, with no RBIs over that period of time. And they've just had a slump throughout the entire lineup, which is one reason why Pete has put Daniels and Stillwell and Milner in the lineup today. Check swing foul, and the count remains 0-2.
So you see a lot of indecisive swings with Ronnie. We saw it yesterday. Saw it Friday night. A lot of indecisive swings. If you're going to be wrong in your guessing or in your selection, be aggressively wrong.
Strike 3 called. He was very tentative there, and he gets called out on strikes. Darling's 3rd strikeout and a 1-2-3 inning here in the 4th for Ron. It is still 4-0 New York after 4 complete. Oster with a few words for home plate umpire Tom Hallion. And we'll be back to Riverfront after this from Budweiser. Called out on strikes by home plate umpire Tom Hallion. Got run after arguing, and this is where he realized that Hallion had thrown him out of the game, and he comes back to argue.
He really gets in his face now. He is out of the game. Ejected Buddy Bell in there to play third. You think about the job that umpires have. It's a very difficult job. As you can tell there, Oster is certainly not telling Hallion, surely you jest.
The problem with throwing a guy out is that you often take more abuse after the fact than before, because now the player or coach or manager has nothing to lose. Big Lee Wire, the crew chief, had to get in there and separate the two of them, and now Concepcion has moved from 3rd to 2nd base as Oster's been ejected, and Buddy Bell comes off the bench to play 3rd base.
But Steve, almost on cue, what we were talking about the last half inning. Very frustrating times for the Cincinnati Reds. Not only the younger players, but a more seasoned player like Ron Oster. Frustrating.
That certainly typified it. Wally Backman will lead off the top of the 5th inning for the Mets. Hernandez and Strawberry to follow. It is 4-0 New York. Backman has doubled and scored and lined out to center field. He takes low from Mario Soto for ball 1. Wally has now scored 10 runs in the last 11 games. And he's hitting .340 on the year. He entered the game hitting .400 as a left-handed batter. 1-1. The Mets have scored 4 runs on 6 hits. 2 home runs by Darryl Strawberry. A drag bunt. Rose over to field it. To Soto, no way. And the ball rolls away, but not far enough as Soto keeps going after it down to the Cincinnati bullpen. So it's a base hit by Wally Backman, and we'll see what kind of reaction Mario Soto has.
Well, Pete hesitated. Now watch the hesitation. Had he thrown it now, he wanted to throw it at the bag, and now that confuses Soto. And Pete has made a good adjustment to first base, but in my opinion, that's Pete's fault. Watch the hesitation. Now just throw it to Soto. Give the ball to the pitcher as soon as you can, because as he's passing you. Because if you wait for him to get to the bag, there's no way to get back.
You know, it looked, Tim, like when he looked up, he thought that Concepcion, the second baseman, was going to be there. He wasn't looking at the pitcher.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
He was looking toward where the second baseman would be coming from. I think initially he looked for Concepcion and didn't see him.
Yep, thinking that even if he gave the ball to Soto right away, that he wouldn't get back.
Right. So here's Keith Hernandez, who is 0 for 2 as Backman gets chased back. Wally has 3 stolen bases on the year. The bunt base hit, the 7th for New York. Keith has flied deep to right center field and struck out looking. He takes one right down the middle for strike 1. Hernandez 4 for 10 in this series. Had 3 hits in yesterday's game. of time to reorganize.
You'd ask for time, too, if you had dirt down your pants.
And he'll get a little more in there. That time he sort of went back in on his hip. Belt buckles can dig it up like a bulldozer.
Yeah.
One and one now to Keith. Keith has taken to riding the team bus to the park now, which he ordinarily does not do. And the reason he's doing it is because he started doing it when the Mets started the winning streak. And he told me today he's going to keep doing it. Pitch out. As the Reds were looking for Backman to be running, he was not. And it's 2 balls, 1 strike. Now an even better count on which to run.
I have known ball players to get on a streak and wear the same clothes. Yes. And you never pull for a winning streak to come to a halt. But if it's too long, you do.
You have to for your own and everyone else's well-being.
Especially if they ride the bus. You don't mind if they take a cab to the ballpark.
I know a guy who once wore the same socks under his sanitaries during a hitting streak. You could stand those babies up by themselves. Fouled away. 2-2. Keith a little upset with himself. Felt as if he should have done more with that pitch.
Well, he was in an offensive situation, 2-1 count, and he's probably telling himself that he should have had a better pitch to hit.
Backman draws another throw. Wally at first with nobody out. We're in the top of the 5th inning with New York leading 4-0. 2-2 to count to Hernandez. Fouled away, and it's still 2-2. Keith working on an 8-game hitting streak over which he's hit .394. He's had 5 doubles in the last 5 ball games. And he, in fact, tied for the league lead in doubles with R.J. Reynolds of Pittsburgh. They each have 9. Backman's running. And the pitch, a base hit into right field. Wally will go to third as Parker comes up with the ball, and the Mets have runners at first and third with nobody out. And this is something New York has been doing throughout this hot streak. Seems like every time you look up, they have runners at first and third.
All the elements are there for Hernandez to hit a rope, and that's what he does. Fastball outplayed. Rose holding Backman close, and a dangerous situation for Soto that proved, the results proved to be exactly what the situation dictated. Hernandez protecting away, getting the fastball away, and ripping it to right. I mean, that was a BB to right field.
And here's Darryl Strawberry, who has 2 home runs on the day. He takes a fastball for strike 1. Darryl has driven in 3 of the 4 New York runs. A 2-run shot in the first and a solo in the third. He now has 5 homers and 17 RBIs. 1-1.
He has hit 3 home runs in a game once at Wrigley Field, August 5th of last year, and Scott Terry up and throwing.
Ooh, man, just got a piece of it. Probably wishes he had it back.
He's trying to hit his 3rd home run with that swing.
1 ball, 2 strikes. First and third, and nobody out. Soto gets him with a high fastball. Strikeout number 3 for Soto. 1 out in the inning.
Now Darryl a little overzealous with that swing right there. Look at those eyes. Well, it's a great shot of those eyes.
He wanted to hit that ball to the Delta Queen.
Wanted a 5-run homer.
But he's out of there on strikes. And here's Gary Carter, who's 1 for 2, doubled and scored in the first and struck out in the third. He pops one up to short right field. Parker coming in. Makes the catch. Backman tagging, but does not advance as Parker rifles one in. And there are 2 out.
I'll tell you, an old Cardinal play. Now, Hernandez did not try to go to second base, but it's an old Eddie Stanky play. You tag up at first base and you just take off for second on the theory that Parker can't throw the ball to Rose, who's in deep cutoff position, and have Pete relay the ball to second base. And Hernandez walks in. If Rose throws the ball to second, Backman scores.
I like it.
Yes, sir. And you got to work on that play, and you got to be conscious. See, Rose was set up as a deep cutoff man. Pete doesn't throw that well anyway. Hernandez just tags up and takes off for second. And Parker can't throw the ball to Rose to Concepcion to get Hernandez at second base. And if they tried, Backman scores.
That's right. Yeah, Pete was inside the mound, actually, when he cut that ball off. First and third with 2 out now. And Danny Heath hits a rope to right center field. It drops in for a base hit. Backman scores. Hernandez stops at second. It's now 5-0 New York. Backman scores his second run of the game. And Danny Heath picks up his 9th RBI of the year.
And a big hit right here. Why is it a big hit? Well, because you had a chance to score the runner from third without the benefit of a base hit. But with 2 outs, obviously you don't, and Danny Heath delivers, picking up his teammates, Strawberry and Carter.
Heath with a little acknowledgement of encouragement to Danny Heath, who has now hit in all of his 6 starts in left field this year.
See, that first and third and 1 are none out. You got all the angles covered. If Parker tries to combat it by throwing the ball to second base, Backman scores. Hernandez stops, it goes back to first. You got everything covered on the play.
Because whoever's covering at second can't throw back to first in time to get Hernandez.
Well, there's nobody covering. See, your first baseman's your cutoff man. That's exactly right.
So Keith could have gone as far as he wanted to, really, and still hustled back. Here's Ray Knight, 1 for 2 with an RBI, and he hits one off the end of the bat. Soto with a lollipop throw to first base, and the inning is over. But the Mets pick up another run on 3 base hits here in the 5th inning, and after 4 1/2, they lead Cincinnati 5-0. Now here's a word from OTB. Following the Mets wherever they go, via the Derby. I see they've been all over the place.
P.S. Where's Daddy? Got me.
Probably back in Yonkers for all I. Anyway, it's the bottom of the 5th inning with New York leading 5-0, and back in Tim McCarthy.
And young Tracy Jones is going to be the pinch hitter for Mario Soto. Mario pushed around a bit by the Mets. Mets have been doing that to a lot of pitchers. They lead the National League in hitting. In 5 innings, as you look at Scott Terry, who'll be the pitcher in the 6th, Soto gave up 5 runs and 9 hits. Ron Darling working on his first shutout of the year, giving up only 1. And it's 2-0 to Tracy Jones. And Tracy batting .250. He's 7 for 28. 1 extra base hit. That's a double. There's a strike. 2-1.
As a pinch hitter, Tracy's 0 for 3 with 1 pinch RBI.
Another strike. So it's 2-2 to Tracy. No relation to Casey Jones.
We don't know that for sure now.
Now, I just took a shot. Still 2-2.
Well, I guarantee the odds are in your favor.
That was a young player. I guess you could say he's an engineer of his own fate, huh? Trying to build a career. Got him fastball. 4th strikeout for Darling.
Right on the corner gets the call from Tom Hallion. Jones with a little bit of an argument, but he's out of there.
Eddie Milner, the batter. Eddie 0 for 1. He was walked to right. 5-0, New York on top. Trying to win their 14th game in their last 15 outings. They have been sizzling. Strike one. Split finger fastball to right, and it's a base hit. Strawberry didn't appear to see that ball, and that's not unusual. That ball coming out of a lot of white shirts here on a bright, sunny day.
And Channel 9 is Slick Double Play Sports with double coverage by Steve and Al Albert beginning Monday night at 8 on News 9 Primetime. The news you don't have to rush home for.
Well, Steve and Al, great additions to any newscast. Proud to have them with us. Pete Rose, the batter, with Milner at first, and one away. Bottom of the fifth. Pete trying to bunt his way on. He does that rather well down third, 1-0.
We were talking about Pete's limited physical ability and all that he has done with it, and I have been carrying around an article from a magazine for a week. Written by James Buckley Jr. on baseball in general.
1-1.
And one of the paragraphs in here, when I read it, I thought immediately of Pete Rose. Talking about baseball, he said that football is played by brutes and speedsters, basketball by giants, by hard, tough men with few teeth.
2-1.
He says, it is hard to picture yourself achieving greatness in these sports if the requisite physical aren't present. Baseball is different. It is a game in which regular-sized people do ordinary things in an extraordinary way. Children playing catch in any backyard in America or the world can become Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, Willie Mays, or even Pete Rose. And if one guy typifies regular-sized people doing ordinary things in an extraordinary way, it's number 14 right there.
Boy, that's great. Man, does that indeed typify Pete?
James Buckley Jr. wrote that article called Glory Days, and I loved it.
3-1 to Peter Edward. Milner at first, one out. The Mets up by 5 in the fifth. Strike two.
Pete's 0 for 12 now, with his 0 for 2 so far today. But he's more concerned about his ball club and the rest of the lineup hitting than he is what he himself is doing recently. Not that he doesn't care about his own statistics, because he does.
There goes Milner, ground ball, base hit. The first hit of the '86 season for Pete Rose, and the Reds have runners at the corners and one out.
What a prototypical Pete Rose base hit it is. Obviously, Hernandez had to hold Milner on at first base. And on the play, with the runner going, Backman was breaking toward the second base pad. So Pete put the runner in motion and filled the hole himself with a base to right field. His first in 13 at-bats this year.
Parker, the batter. Dave, 1 for 1. He has been doubled. So the Reds with a chance to get back into the fight here in the bottom of the fifth inning. 3 hits now for Cincinnati. Ball 1.
Dave Parker 7 hits in his last 35 at-bats with that double in the third inning. But he has no RBIs in the last 8 ball games. And of course, when his double bounced over the fence, he was robbed of an RBI because Milner was on base ahead of him.
Split finger fastball, trying to hold up but couldn't. 1-1. Ball hit well in the center, and that's going to score a run. Milner tagging. Dykstra will go to second base. That spoils the shutout of Ron Darling. But probably thinking that could have been worse. That ball is hit well. 5-1, New York.
So Parker picks up his first RBI in the last 9 games. Had he pulled this ball a little more, it could have been some serious trouble. But Milner able to glide on home uncontested as Dykstra kept Rose at first base by throwing to second.
Cal Daniels, the batter, he's 0 for 1. He has walked. Darling has walked 4 and struck out 4. And he has a 4-run lead. 1-0 to Daniels. Fastball low, 2-0.
Daniels has hit in 9 of the 11 games in which he has played. Batting an even .333. Well, that's actually an odd number, but it's kind of an even batting average.
Swinging from his heels on that 2-0 fastball, 2-1 to the young Cal Daniels. If you remember, back on April the 11th, that was Ron's first start. He was in the 5th inning, the Philadelphia Phillies, and he had an 8-1 lead. He did not complete the 5th inning, and he ended up with a no decision. Mets won that game 9-7, but Ron did not get a decision with that big lead in the 5th inning. So it's 3-1 to Daniels.
Some pitchers have a tendency to lose their concentration when they get out in front.
Grounded toward first, and there's Hernandez. So Darling kind of dances through raindrops here in the 5th inning. Reds score 1 run on 2 hits, and the Strahan 1, and after 5, it's 5-1 New York. Now here's a word from Budweiser. All fans here are looking at the world through rose-colored glasses, are they?
I guess we could call that Reflections on a Sunny Day.
By Steve Zabriskie.
Sign it right down here in the corner. Scott Terry into the game in relief of Soto. Nice going, Bill Webb. Scott Terry in the spotlight there with a fine ERA of 1.08, a record of 0-0. This is his 6th appearance. No saves. He's finished all game. He's only pitched 3rd innings, but he's only given up 1 earned run. That was on a home run.
And Scott will be facing Howard Johnson, Ron Darling, and Len Dykstra with the Mets up 5-1. 1-0 Howard. Johnson 0 for 2 on the afternoon. He's popped to second and to Pete Rose on a nice play. Tim McCarver along with Steve Zabriskie and Ralph Kiner happily bringing you Mets baseball on WOR. Two and 0 to Johnson. Scott Terry, an interesting story. He signed in 1980 as a number 12 selection, free agent draft. Johnson gets under, lifts it to center. Eddie Milner hesitated. He's backpedaling, and he made he play look difficult, but there's one away.
Well, he probably fighting the sun a little bit because that ball was right into the sun. And he may have lost it for an instant, which caused the hesitation, but Milner, a good enough outfielder, and certainly with enough speed, and the ball hit high enough for him to be able to make an adjustment.
Ron Darling is 1 for 2. He picked up his hit. The fact that Terry was the number 12 draft choice was not the interesting thing I was talking about. 0-2 to Darling. He spent his first 3.5 years in professional baseball as an outfielder. Then he switched to pitching in the middle of '94, and Ralph Kiner points out that the reason he switched to pitching, he hit .231 as an outfielder. That'll switch you to pitching or something. Might switch you to heavy construction.
Good thing he had a good arm, or be selling insurance or digging ditches right now.
14-3 last year at Vermont, the AA affiliate, or 2 years ago, I should say. He does have a good arm. Slider, good hard fastball. 2-2 to Darling.
He is from New Mexico, I believe, and there are not that many guys that come out of New Mexico other than our pal and colleague Ralph Kiner and make it to the major leagues.
Tapped back toward the mound, and Terry, who obviously feels this too well, being a former outfielder, makes the play. And with 2 out, the batter Len Dykstra. Yeah, he's from Hobbs, New Mexico.
Ralph points out that Vern Stevens, a pretty fair ball player, all came out of Mexico.
I guess if you're from Hobbs, New Mexico, you got to be a natural, right?
Roy Hobbs, the natural. I got it.
Dykstra for 3. I'll throw that in. Bernard Malamud just passed away recently, right? That's during spring training. Keeper of the natural as Dykstra naturally pops one into right. After his first hit. Every time you look up, Dykstra's on base, it seems.
He's now been on base in 17 of 19 games. And he is 8 for in stolen bases, so if he's going to be motoring on down towards second here with 2 out.
Ralph Kiner, born in New Mexico, but of course grew up in Alhambra, California.
Dwayne Ward. Farmington, New Mexico, Ralph points out. He knows everything from New Mexico. Of course, there aren't that many folks from New Mexico.
Tom Brown, pitcher on the Red staff, had an excellent year last year from Casper, Wyoming, and extensive research. All those museums and libraries we attend on the road last year showed that only one other major league player was from Casper, Wyoming. That's Dan Spillner.
Good heavens. Most of those guys become cowboys, I guess.
Yeah. 0-1 to Backman. Wally's had another day. He's 2 for 3. The first run of the game in front of Darryl Strawberry's first of 2 home runs. Mets lead 5-1. There goes Dykstra, swing and a miss. The throw, not in time. Called it, Steve. 9 in a row for Len Dykstra.
Stolen base for the Mets as a team this afternoon. Dykstra again with his jump and that typical head-first slide. The ball a little bit to the right field side, or it might have been a closer play. You love to watch him go down there.
When you do slide head, you want him.
Pass him a Q-tip or something.
Yeah, really.
Turned his head the wrong way. Turn your head the side where you got the flap, Lenny.
He had Dirk Medulla, right? Grounded up the middle, base hit. Dykstra score. The throw by Milner's not going to be in time, and Rose is going to go to second. And now he's called out because Backman slid off the bag. Dykstra's run counted, so the Mets lead it 6-1 and get Backman an RBI with third hit on the afternoon.
Well, this play is so typical of what the Mets have been doing here. Even though Backman came off the bag and got tagged, really did get in just underneath the initial tag, and the first call from second base umpire Lee Wire was safe.
6-1 New York, bottom of the 6th, and we'll be back after this word. Manufacturers Hanover. The Mets up 6-1, and Dave Concepcion fouls one back. Davey 0 for 2 on the afternoon. As many Reds, he's off to a sluggish start, batting under 200. Another big day for Wally Backman, 3 for 4. Darryl Straw with 2 home runs, 3 RBI. 11 hits for New York. I mean, they have pummeling the opposition.
Mets started the day again and still leading the major leagues in hitting with a .280 team batting average. And over the last 12 games, not counting day, they were hitting a .299 pace.
Curveball low, 2-2.
When you get up around 300 as a team, I mean, you're doing some serious hacking.
They've been getting it from every department. Intelligent running, excellent defense, excellent pitching, timely hit, and a lot of hits. You name it, they've been doing it. Base hit left field for Concepcion.
Well, Davey is now hit in 4 straight games, even though before this base hit he was hitting 194 on the year. Pete Rose counts a lot on this guy right here.
first pitch to Stillwell is the ball. Ron Robinson up and throwing now for the Reds. To Stillwell. Ronnie looked like he caught bike on rubber there.
There's where those hats went. Those guys passed them on to the ladies, apparently.
But the guys were wearing them. They were askew, right? That famous fraternity you talk about?
Yes, cap askew.
Bad-looking hats in the stadium today. Strike one, 2-1.
Wait a minute. Maybe those are the umbrellas they're passing out here.
Umbrella day, 12,000 umbrellas. It should be parasol day, really.
That's right.
The sun out so bright.
No rain.
If Kurt fouls this one back, it's 2-2 to Kurt Stillwell. Mets churn into Shea on Tuesday night. Bob Knepper against Dwight Gooden. What a matchup that is. And then they follow up on Wednesday night, 7:35 game time, with Nolan Ryan going against Sid Fernandez. Then after an off day next Thursday, the Astros, or make that the Cincinnati Reds, come into town for the week. And then a couple of games against Atlanta, and then the Mets on the road to the West Coast. Split finger fastball is fouled away, and now Barini is throwing, joined by Randy Neiman.
Ryan has sound somewhat, at least as far as his control is concerned, since he walked 4 through the first 3 innings. He has not walked a batter in the last 2 innings plus, but he has given up a run on a couple of base hits, actually 3. 4 total.
Curveball hit sharply. There's 6, and the double play is turned. You see Concepcion, that play? The stop reminds me of Mickey Mantle in the 1960 series against Pittsburgh, and then dove back after the first baseman stepped on the base bag.
This time it would not have worked, however, because Hernandez got the force play, but Concepcion coming back just in case. You never know, and obviously he couldn't see.
Right.
That's right, not take a chance.
Unless Hernandez throws the ball by second base and Davies going back to first.
The reason obviously that is that when if the first baseman steps on the bag, there's no force play at second. So the base runner has an opportunity to go back to first and be safe. But that time Hernandez immediately threw the ball to second base.
Here's Kurt Stillwell hitting from the left side, hit the ball sharply, but Hernandez once again 3-6-3 double play. He does it better than anybody I've ever seen. 1-1 to Bo Diaz. Now it's 1-1 to Bo.
Diaz with a hit in his last 21 at-bats.
Fly ball to left field. Johnson over. Deep in, and it's Howard Johnson who makes a nice play. No runs to hit, none left here in the 6th. And after 6, it's 6-1 New York. We go to the 7th as Ralph joins Steve after this word from Michelob Light.
Merv is back, and Channel 9 has him weekdays at 1 with what's happening in entertainment, Beverly Hills gossip, my favorite, and more. The Merv Griffin Show right here on Chanel number 9. And as we go to the 7th inning with the Mets leading 6-1, look at that beautiful little girl. Coming back in to work the final 3 with me, a guy who was once a guest on the Merv Griffin Show, probably more famous for that than anything else, Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Steve, and we got Keith Hernandez coming up.
You better be careful.
Keith in this game with a base hit his last time up to extend his hitting streak in the second ball game. 14 hits over the 9 games, and batting for the first time against Scott Terry. Terry with his first delivery right in the strike zone, strike 1. Keith 1 for 3 today. Right back with that fastball, strike 2.
Keith really disappointed in himself there for letting that pitch go by.
hit on the ground to third, the second baseman. One away. Mets leading by a score of 6-1. Top of the 7th inning.
One of the things about great hitters is their ability to concentrate. And you can look at Hernandez's eye here. Throughout the entire delivery, wind-up and delivery of the pitcher. And just see the concentration, although he hit the top half of that ball breaking down.
See those
amazing concentration.
Dilate when that ball came up there. And the breaking ball for a ball to Darryl Strawberry. Darryl with 2 home runs in this ball game. Both off the starting pitcher, Mario Soto. 2 balls, no strikes. Darryl with a chance for 3 home runs in the ball game. Johnny Mize hit 3 home runs in a ball game 6 times more than anyone else. Never hit 4 in a game. 2-1 the count.
Well, that's something you did. Hit 3 and 4.
4 in 2 games, though. 4 in consecutive at-bats.
Hit 4 consecutive bats over 2 games.
Did it twice. 2-1. Hit 3 home runs in a ball game time. One time in Pittsburgh, I had 3 home runs. My first 3 at-bats, grounded out my 4th time, and they booed me. And right on the outside corner, so Darryl struck out by Scott Terry.
Well, Darryl didn't like that call, and he didn't like the call on the 2nd strike, the pitch before that. But he is resigned to the fact that he's going to go back and sit down.
Checking out Darryl's eyes.
Darryl following the pitch all the way, held up his swing, and he really thought that ball was outside. He can't believe it.
There have been many that you can see the ball hit the bat when you make contact. It is physically impossible. There's ball 1.
The idea, however, is to try. Keep that head in there and make an attempt.
The longer you can follow it in, the better off you are. But your eyes cannot move that fast. And there's a pitch for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes to Gary Carter. Carter with a double his first time up. 1 for 3 today. Mets have had 6 runs on 11. The Reds 1 run on 4. And it's grounded foul. Carter with 250 home runs in his major league career.
Gary followed that ball so well, he followed it even after he fouled it off. The old baseball saying, you can't hit what you can't.
And it's ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Problem is that a lot of the times you can't hit what you can see. You can't hit it anyway.
You're in deep trouble when that happens. Scott Terry with a 3-1 count, working to Gary Carter. And ball 4. So the Mets get their second walk of the ball game. The first was intentional back in the first inning to Danny Heap. And it brings up Danny, who is 1 for 2 in today's ball game. Danny has started 6 games for the Mets, and he has hit in all of them. He also has 8 runs batted in the 6th, and a strike count.
And he's hitting .360 right now, which is another reason why some extra pressure has been put on George Foster by the fans of New York as much as else.
1 strike.
But Danny has for George. He has managed to do something good. He's played very well. Made a couple of good defensive plays in left field in yesterday's game.
George in the first game of this series. And the back of ball. 2 balls, 1 strike. No, he didn't play, did he? Oh, yeah.
Game Friday night,
yeah. 4 in that ball game. Strikeouts. The fastball fouled back. deep behind that pitch, and the 2 balls and 2 strikes.
When Danny was in the minor leagues in the Houston organization, he just tore up AAA ball with some heavy, crooked numbers. But then his first couple of years with Houston in the big leagues, when he got a juggled at the plate.
And the fastball for a 3-2 catch. So Carter will be running with. Pete Rose playing behind the runner for some defensive room. Runner goes, and the ball lined down the right line, foul. So they'll do it all over again. Carter first base, and Danny back in the batter's box.
Talking to Carter before they go in the clubhouse this afternoon, and he was talking about having his day yesterday, and he said, now I'm ready for the next 30 straight. And he may just do that.
And the pitch again off, this time away, so Carter getting a little sprint time. Danny Heap led the because legged hitting back in 1980, 343. From San Antonio, Texas. Again, Carter goes. And this one grounded to the second side. Ron Oster throws. And inning. Make that Dave Concepcion to Pete Rose, and in the inning, 1 left on the walk, and the score at the end of 6.5 innings. The Mets 6 and Reds. Now here's a from U.S. Healthcare.
1986 season marks the
Are throwing in the bullpen for the Reds as they'll go for a pinch hitter for the pitcher. And Eric Davis in the on-deck circle as we take a look at Buddy Bell, the leadoff. Bell batting first time to the game, and Ron O's ejected from the game. And there's a fastball for a strike.
Buddy Bell, like the rest of the wrestling, hitting only 150, and he's had 1 hit, 11 at bat.
Ball to Howard Johnson up, and Hernandez for the out. So deep coming to pitch. Terry hitting 190 with runs and 8 runs batted. With outstanding when he makes contact, and he takes strike 1. Fastball for 1 ball, 1 strike. And 2 count.
We talked during how the Reds are hitting and what they do. They're 26th in base already in these 3 games. And even when they do people on base, the Mets hitters during this series, they're going so poorly that they have been able to count on anything. I think they've left the bases loaded 4 series.
Well, Al, back to count balls, and they've had several bases low situations.
They left 10 men on in the first game, 10 men on in the second game, and they have left 6 men on through the first 6 innings in this game.
Davis over at Band hit 7 home runs here in his career with the Cincinnati Reds, so he can get it going when he does hit out of the ballpark. 17 runs batted in the 10 games. That was 1984.
And as Tim brought up Friday night, to look at him physically, you wouldn't think of him as a power hitter.
And strike. All out on strike. 5th strike for Darwin. And 2 away.
Well, you got to be. I know he's trying to get on. They know that they need base runners trailing by 5 and all. But we have seen a lot of good pitches go by on Cincinnati hitters during this series. They are very, very collectively and individually. And I guess that's contagious, too. Just like the positive things are contagious, it's the bad stuff.
Everything that goes up. Ball 1 to Eddie Milner. Milner 1 from this game, also has been on base as a result of a walk. 2 balls, no strikes. He is a cousin of Miller. Right in there, 2-1. 3 balls and 1 strike. Milner's had the only hit in 3 till no. Milner walks for the 2nd time in the game. He's based 3 out of 4 times. that'll bring up Pete Rose.
Well, that's talking about this line. It's another thing that 5 walks in the ball game frustrating. Your baseball club barely hit 200 collectively. They're sitting there taking a lot of good pitches, and you get guys in a game when you have a 6-1 lead.
Conference, and as we wait for Pete Rose to
incidentally borrowed back is not going to go with the Lynchburg. He's going to go to New York and see a back specialist.
Pete Rose, the all-time leader in at-bats in the history of baseball, started the season 1,018 at-bats. And this year, he was 0 for 12 in at-bats before he got his first hit. That first hit coming 5th inning on a hit and play. One strike. Rose also has played in the baseball history. Or this, he has played in more. He has played 3,004 games. And call. It's 1-2.
Another thing we're talking about the other, Ralph, was those 540 starts in Atlanta. Sometimes it's hard to ball and how guys complain about that. Pete said he's 300 games and he's never played in a game. He has not been able to see ball.
And he saw that one strike zone, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Makes me think of that. Now those of the stadium rim are starting to encroach past home. You see right there. Ball coming into the shed seems to be a problem. But what Pete made back this, what makes picking up the rotation.
Up to the count stays at 2-2.
He can see the ball sometimes under conditions of a bad back or shed. Not be able to see the rotation well.
That's the best ball. I think he picks a curveball from a fastball. I don't know if they see it. I've argued this point. You see a difference, but maybe not the round shot at first base. So it's a 2-back ball. Comes from a higher plane ball.
Well, I mean, he means losing the ball.
I think it's an illusion. Whatever.
He's of a lot of ball.
And that one just does miss, and it's 3-2. Pete Rose 4,205 hits in his major league career. Of those, 3,107 singles, 738 doubles. He has scored more runs than anybody in the history of the National League, but not in baseball. But he played in both the National and it's sold out. And that do it for Darley. It will. Here comes David for the sign.
Well, Pete really ripped him good with that walk pitches, and Pete high. But Randy Neiman is going to come into the game on walks.
I'm here to hear this word.
Here we go. Anything suspicious?
Randy with a record of 0-2 and no saves, an ERA of 7.7. He's only pitched 4 2/3 innings. Base hits 4 earned runs. He has walked 3 and struck out 1. And he is in relief of Rogos in 2/3. He run 4 hits, struck out 5 and walked 6, and of course is still responsible for the runners.
And the first batter for Neiman will be Parker. Parker with a double in 1 official at bat. He also has walked, and he has driven in the only red run. That came on a sacrifice fly to center field. Line drive by Backman, who is playing in right field. Coming in to score from second base is Eddie Milner. Strawberry goes to second. And Parker now with 2 RBIs. Mets 6 and the Reds 2.
This ball very sharply hit. I mean, it's a hit out there. Strawberry might have had a play at Milner at home. He elected with the Mets leading at the time by 5. And now he prevented Rose from trying to go to third base by throwing into
the right base. That brings up Cal Daniels. Daniels in him 0 for 2 with a walk. And Neiman misses with his second delivery. His first to Parker. Daniels hitting .324 so far this year. And that's ball 2. 2 balls and no.
That run, incidentally, charged to Ron Darling.
Coming to the game with an earned run at 6.75.
That was Roger McDowell tying his shoe down the bullpen.
Art Hammerman ever alert for the new up. 3-0.
In all fairness, tying his shoe in an effort in warming up.
3-0. And Neiman brought in to pitch to 2 and batters as a single. He has walked the other on 4 pitches, and that could be all.
Davey out again, and he wants Roger McDowell. Now Wilson was down in the bullpen warming up. I'm suggesting that Davey might be making a double switch.
So Evan leaves the ball game, and Mitchell comes into the ball game with Danny Heap going out. We'll pause for this from WA. Left field, and he'll bat in the 9th position in the batting order. Roger McDowell game. Roger making his 11th appearance of the year.
His record is 2 with 1 save and a 5.17 ERA. He has allowed 9 earned runs and struck out 16 in 15 2/3 innings of work, and took a mini pounding in the game Friday night. 5 hits in 1 inning when the Reds made that game very interesting, coming back for an 8-7 New York victory.
That's a last score of 8-2 when McDowell took that drubbing. Sid Reds to come back again. The batter is Dave Concepcion. 2 runs in his major league career, and there's one. Concepcion batted in the 3rd, the bases loaded, and put out to short. And hit it 3 times up in this game. Time up here with 2 men away. Bottom of the 7th. Strike. Now from Cincinnati, Ohio. Pitching here in front of, I'm sure, quite a his high school friends.
Jim Ferguson, the Reds, they really have to break out to town because he unloads on them.
Went to Cole, Cincinnati. Also attended Bowling University. And this ball hit in the inner field. Dykstra is there. And Dusty McDowell gets the job. More trouble. New York Mets as the Reds score 1 run. On hit and 3 men on base. The score at the end of 7, the Mets 6, Reds 2. Now here's a word, Burger.
30, it's Mets hosting the Cincinnati Reds live at a stadium, followed by a special late edition of News 9 with all the news, weather, and telecast Friday, 7:30 against the Reds at Shea.
Ted Power, the new pitcher for the Cincinnati. Power appearing in his 9th ball game of the year.
Powers over the 5.4 ERA. He's pitched only so far.
And he'll be working to his batter rate 3 in today's ball game. Singer first down. Ball 1. Power, former. Well, there he had 27 saves, 8 wins with 6 and 2 strikes.
Scott Terry leave win on a run on 2 hits, struck out 1.
That's ball a called strike. Ball 3, 3 balls and 1 strike. Power, throw power. Tim McCarver said.
Truly a poor pitcher.
And it's ripped to left field, a base hit. And to take it on the first hop, and Knight in series now. He's had 6 hits and 11 times. So Knight turning on the lights against the Hummer club. And now runner at first base with no one out, and Howard Johnson the batter. He crowd today 20,407. And the first delivery. That was 6 runs on the total of 12 hits. On 5 hits, but the Reds had base runners. They've had tonight. And that pitch. Or was it foul? Third base, Dutch Renner indicated he did not swing, but evidently. So it's 2-0. Back in 1980, Ted Power had a record of 8-3. But Dodgers won a ball game and also won the playoffs. It'd be a 20-game winner. Included the major leagues. 2 ball, 1 strike. The year of the strike.
1981.
1, right. 83.
He only team record all of baseball. It's the minor leagues, 120. Kind of tough to win 20 in the minor leagues because that many start. Schedule's not as long as it is. So 8-3 in the third record.
And this ball fouled his first in a tough one. He was against no hit the Dodgers that day.
To win when your club doesn't get a hit.
Count. And a throw to first base. Knight is back. puts it at ball 3, 3-2. A pitcher named George Estock, who pitched for the Boston Braves, who had one decision in his major league career. He was on. He lost that in that ball game. Cliff Chambers of the Pittsburgh Pirates pitched a no-hit, no-run game. First you can do. There's a swing out ball. Chambers pitching that no-hitter for the worst no-hitters I've ever seen. I was playing.
What's the difference between a good no-hitter and a bad?
Well, a good no-hitter is when you have command of the ball game. They were making line drive diving catches over the field for Cliff Chambers.
They were ropes. A shaky no-hitter.
Precarious. First base and night act.
On 6 hittings to 7, which would he had a 12 streak with Detroit.
They hit here to do that. Runner goes, the ball fouled again. So Knight back to first.
Tim McGraw points out that in no hitter, no hits.
Boy, he had them all over the place.
No hit for a no hitter. I can see it in the paper the next day.
You know, Jim Malone, no hitter for the Cincinnati Reds, and I think he wanted people
far from a big game.
Jim with 3 no-hitters. There goes Knight again, and ball fouled away. The hitter ever pitched was a losing effort.
Yep, the kitten.
12 perfects, then lost the game 13.
Against the Braves, are you?
Joe, it was a winning pitch game, and he had 12 hits.
Adcock did him in.
Adcock, Barney credited a 2-base hit, was passed on misses. Actually, airfield, he didn't even come up, so they gave a double. Again is off, and again. You know, they talked about Gray the other day. There was publicity about the one player for the St. Louis Browns, Pete Gray, who played during the war. Right. There was our pitcher, Major Leagues, a no-hitter. Daly was his name. Wasn't the player that played in the Major League. He pitched in 1980. Should see it. I pop up out to right center to get it out. I think the catch and Knight first. Wonder what batter will be given Miller lineup will switch and put in the 9th position in the 3 home run. That was off John Tudor, and 4 runs batted in, and Mitch fouls it back. Mitch of John Tudor, his first major league home run 1 week ago. Fastball strike. Strike 2. The most important pull to pitch. Gordon pitched in the turn at the season. He was a keeper.
Boy, oh boy. He's going to Eastman in a hurry. Was that by choice?
By his choice. That was all back in 1886. Baseball started here in this ballpark in 1876.
Professionally.
Professionally. First no-hit ever for Pittsburgh of the St. Louis Hartford Blues. And a fact.
That's sent to the radio booth. Arlen and Shaw cleanly.
Cincinnati. In fact, this pitcher is 15 years old.
Actually,
he has to weigh 4 pounds. So ball and strikes on wing to hold up. Now 2 away.
You see there shadows between the pitcher's mound and home plate.
And will be there 17 of his last 19 ball games. Eagle that's the lead scored. And fouled off. Mets 2. Top of the and it's ball strike. Wrapping a loose and Tuffle. And he called the strike.
You talk about that with a win today, opportunity to finish the road 10-1, which best they've ever had on a trip. They were 10-1 in 11 trip last season.
1 pitch. A foul.
Power have to be tough with that Dado.
2-2 pitch. And it's popped up in foul territory, and it will be. Lendyke with his 6th inning to set up a run. Out of 9, and the Mets very shortly will have to bring up Mookie into Tidewater.
Interestingly enough, Mookie has been playing level in Tidewater. Mets decides to do,
And that's ball 3. In center field.
Boy, Stanley is some kind of prospect. He's spread anyone, including Hudson and Trent. Kind of hated to see him be sent down.
3 to row, and big left center field is Milner, and he hauls it in. That is 1 hit left to score at the 7.5 innings. The Mets 6. It's 2. Now here's a word from Budweiser. Tomorrow, and we like to suggest that Monday night on the $1 Million Movie at 9, Laminelli as Aussie nightclub in Port Berlin. Cabaret presented with the commercial. And here with commercial, I'm Steve Sabrisky.
Thanks, Rob. Only between innings. Right? Or in case of their pitching change. Well, lead it off. Bottom of the meeting, 2, still 3. Down, fly down, bounced into a play. Takes high and away for ball 1. A York pitcher wheels hand the play.
You know, Steve, well, in a very unusual manner, he has very able. Recommend Joe DiMaggio.
Well, that's true. Wouldn't it ordinarily difficult to gentle out more? That's
easy to do to get motion. He's cool. Most or anything else. He hits he can pull it up.
All again. I guess if Rory will read out that, you'd find hard on forward ends natural 4
and get away with a lot of ways to hit in the school days or college days. In the league, it's not this. Of course, they could never hit that.
The baseman put it made no. The day Wally is having, not only at the plate but in the field.
And they said Clark Howard.
Here's Bo Diaz. Diaz fantastic defensively, and they're very quickly Arturo. Batters Buddy Bell. Second time. Bell's grounded the shortest one. Inserted into the one. Ron Osen. My home plate umpire. Concepcion, who started the game at third, went to second base. And Buddy third. Max Bennett out on deck. The pinch hit should go along the inning. And he ground foul outside of third. The count 0-2.
Bell in a batting slump as deep as you can swing at it. Call Gus Father.
153 Bell is hitting now. He has 1 hit in his last 12 at bat. No RBIs that period of time. One reason he did not start the lineup a bit. Fly ball to center. Dykes riding the sun. Pulls it one hand. Inning for We'll get Riverfront and Nissan. Harry Leach is warming up in bullpen. And Wally Backman is going to lead it off for the Mets. Ted Power. Hernandez and Darryl Straub follow with New York and Cincinnati. 6-2. 2, 3, 4. 2 singles and scored. Not to mention RBI single his last time up. Now hit 67 here. Fouls it off for strike 1.
Pittsburgh lead like it hit 90. Wally's second to him.
Wally's up from the left side. Getting 400 left-handed, and he's 3 for 4. The ball is hot.
Something about switch. Johnny also a switch it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Knock down the statistics of switch hitter, and not guys being better from the left side. Sure, the dumb to let it to do with that, but they're in there. Guy and hitters do
things that left hand has going for him. Let's hit him with the first baseman holding against the runner. You're a couple steps to the first. There's advantage hitting. Surprise us, Bell. The batter didn't. Buddy Bell, a left-hand batter.
That'll be out. And the count holds at 2-2. I wonder if Buddy he was in something like that. Gave it up.
I have to ask you.
Early, so it's tough to consider him a switch hit. He lines one down there, probably for at least 2. Cleanly, left field Daniels. Backman leads off ninth inning with his second double of the day. His 4th in 5 at bat.
9 starts with coverage by Steve and Al Albert. Monday night at o'clock on News 9 time. News won't have to rush home for.
New York now with 15 base hits. Every time you turn around, its Mets are in figures in the hit column. And here's Keith Hernandez, who's 1 for 4. Hernandez deep to struck right and ground second. Swung right through the pitch, and it's 1-1.
Another footnote: switch hitters. There have only been 2 switch hitters that ever hit overtime 300. Pete Rose one of them, Frankie Frisch the other. Frisch a lifetime batting at 316.
Fouled off, and the count 1-2. Switch hitting cracked up to 4. The observation I made about guys doing from one side than the other would hold a period of time, and that downside average would bring their overall average.
Handle him to get 500 tons of most, which a lifetime average of 298.
So that's certainly 300. That misses down and out. Hernandez.
11.
Because there aren't hitters. The throw all the way through, and Backman held it with a fine piece of base running. Backman appears to have pulled hamstring, but Hernandez with an outstanding goes to second. Up after he runs and back to the bag, and it looked like to pop the hand leg right there. Man,
and again, Keith hits a hard hole between Sinclair has Backman coming around third. Pulls up and grab that hamstring. And that very serious injury for Wally.
Well, Tim, the last left for the Mets will have him in, and he's been around there at ready. They're going to try to score, only able back to third base. And really, it's an unusual situation in this game. You think he's been on and run. For those chances, you ordinarily do something like that for yourself. Usually early in a game. And the bad part about Mets' point of view, it's all bad from Wally's point of view. But quite often, a pulled hamstring taking time to heal. Try walkingly. Booing that here in Cincinnati. Fans would like to see Darryl get from there. The Reds have no choice.
How can you predict the world? Here, they're pulling breakers and say the smart thing to do or intentionally hand battery. That's why it's double point.
Right, they're working on there. That's what he comes the back of that leg. Infield Cincinnati. On the top of the Mets, he leading to under the batter. Ball on. Carter is free at
those lambs. Really, most embarrassing when I was stood up, stand up. Erlen down front. Couldn't stop.
No way. I used to get it back at the same time during the night while I was sleeping. So.
Fastest move you ever made in your life.
Fall out of bed. Just roll out of bed. Carter gets a call. Gary thought he had, but Tom Hallian said that it was a strike. 1-2 to Gary.
Got it behind the plate.
And unpopular from both sides of the playing field. Too tight. 1-2. Now the Hernandez so loaded, but he out. Running for back third. Ball. He's all on the run scored. He scored 17 runs a game. Let's go with the play.
That's his foul.
Harry fouled into the Victor Bodie. Second score.
And this ball right here. It could be a big strike as it down.
And importantly, his coach. Making stick Dow is batting. That, of course, Zimmerman out has 2 arms with that one tonight.
Any guy possibly play. That's going of the conversation between Harrell and McGee to pull off on because you don't have to tag anybody.
And hits just outside.
Almost tough over there. Well, Valterra from third base. You're in trouble.
And the other conference, Terry is getting for your self-preservation. So McDowell in this here.
One thing McDowell has to do to the ground is to run it to the double play situation. A home first.
And the Reds missed it. Out move. We're out at Maker. Much more than this. Back. 0-2. Tonight rocketed one. It's a 5 run. Tip back third. Runner in base at first way. Minutes 1. The ball was excited after this ball. So after nobody out, Park comes through.
Well, this has been some of the late to Ray Knight, who 2 out in the first inning to drive in run for the Mets. He's going to.
Knight is 2 for 4. This series, he is 8 for 11. And he fouled the ball 1. 349 on the 6 homers, seen RBI. Bases loaded out of 9. Leading the Reds 2. 1. That's outside. 2-1. Power, the third Cincinnati for the afternoon. Mario started, and right now stands to be the losing pitcher. Time called by home plate umpire Hallian. Two balls, one strike. That's tight. So 1.
This is an outstanding hitting position for Ray Knight. Power has to come in. So Ray can look ball right. 900 field ball.
And he got one. It's close. And walks with the big score run for the Mets. They're still loaded with 2 out of 10. 3. Bell with a fine take out, a line drive, away, Tana, and end the inning.
Here it is on the replay, and if this ball goes through, it's at least 2 runs, but Bell cut off. And that is a very good, big red.
So the Mets leave the bases loaded. No, they get one here. 7-2 New York as we go to the bottom of the 9th after this spot. Cats are the folks who were here when the game started. And Maxwell at first time hitting .364 with no homers or BI. Venable batting for Ted Power. As a pinch hitter, he's 2 for 7. Tim Tuffle in at second base for the injured Wally Backman. Strike 1. Rounded off the front. 9th inning. To take a 5-run lead into the bottom of the 9th. Breaking ball, Tana calls, bag, you can play one away.
So McDowell set to stop Eddie Milner, who has been on base in this game, to sit in.
Ever strained left hamstring as Milner takes a strike. And Wally will be on a date, as more often than not would have injured. Sinker grounded to Turner, makes a backhanded play. McCullough in the 9th. Well, it keeps it look easy, doesn't it? And it's not that easy. Well, here's Pete. Within working officially on the year. 2 out, no 9. It's a spinning game. Puts it out of, and the count 0-2. And a loss by the Reds would mean, have mentioned, right foul off 0-2. I'd have to believe Ralph that when Pete Rose was injured here, they would be going for his head. This should Tuffle for her finish trip 1. In relief of Darling. Darling is Toto the loser. 3 Cincinnati. New York. And 2 Houston having won 14-15 games.